needs to be careful. Doesn't have Spike Carapace, but Paxa has gotten back into the mix. Storm in a heap of trouble. Is able to stun the Invoker, but it's not quite enough. Paxa really wants to do something here, but with nobody here to help him, he can't do much. And Masquerade decides not to really join the fight. Doesn't have the mana to do anything, but that going, I want to say, in favor of Panthers. If we look at the gold graph, indeed it does look that way. They get 4 kills to the 2 kills of Mongolz, and because of that, that experience graph is just spiking for them.
Oh, but don't underestimate the power of a Beastmaster. This Ancient is being stacked up, and he hasn't even joined the fights because he doesn't have the mana, and now he's TPing mid. Oh, this is going to be big if he can get the raw onto TJ before he turns on the refraction. Yeah.
Too bad. So sad though. Not gonna be able to happen because of this one specific ward that they've placed down. Gives vision, of course, pretty much all the way to the dire tier 1 in the mid, and that's just some nice vision right there. Obviously made sure that Masquerade was seen, and that TA basically just gets to be safe all day long.
Whoa. So finally, I think we can catch our breaths. The amount of action that's been going on. 8 minutes, and we have 13 kills. Oh, and Kipo is finding some much needed farm for himself.
Took a sip of some water, really nice. Oh, that felt good.
Oh yeah, and this Ancient is continuing to be stacked up. Oh.
Now it looks like we actually have a race to this rune. If an Illusory Orb goes down, really needs to be careful here, and obviously decides to get out of there. Doesn't want to be cold snapped, and of course, just absolutely murdered. However though, Chris, you're kind of carry Mirana, it looks like, having a bit of a harder time in the top lane with none of those supports there to help him. Looks like Bane has just been hanging around in the mid to try and make sure that Sanke gets farm and gets that Blink Dagger up and running. But yeah, it just looks like Chris kind of petering out in the top lane without anybody to babysit him.
Well, I mean, sure, he only has 13 last hits, but he does have 1 kill and 5 assists in his name, so it's not doing too bad. I mean, look at let's make a quick comparison. Gyro still doesn't have his face boots, but Mirana already has face boots and a magic stick on top. Oh, okay, fine. Gyro has a magic wand. This is, they're about even, I would say. But oh, okay. So Kipo is starting to scout out the stack.
Looks like Kipo does find Masquerade. Obviously not going to be able to kill him, but he is going to be able to interrupt this stack really nicely. And of course, with Senior Hydra just hanging out here, right next to it, getting as much experience as he possibly can, and if Kipo wants to just sit here as well, I mean, they can really stop this Beastmaster from fully exploiting that stack.
And this might have been a little bit of a blunder. You shouldn't surge the courier when it's coming out. Oh,
as that's happening though, Puck getting engaged upon and is able to Illusory Orb out of there just in time. Would like to see some Sunstrikes, of course, but this Senior Hydra going for the full Quas Wex. It doesn't even have a single point in Exhort yet. Doesn't feel like Deafening Blast is probably too important at the moment.
No, you don't need it. As of now, he just wants to get more levels into the Wex to have more movement speed, attack speed, as well as that immense like movement speed from when you're in Ghost Walk, as well as just getting more mana burn. And yeah, so it's pretty good. He is carrying a TP scroll, so he can go to top at a moment's notice.
Looks like Nelly and Storm, though, they have found a TJ. They want to take care of these refraction charges before Vendetta is popped, but of course, even with the double damage, you can't do too much against a TA once he's got refraction. As that's happening, it looks like Masquerade and Sanke finding a kill for themselves on the Invoker, maybe overstaying their welcome a bit. Masquerade now in a little bit of trouble. Crystal Maiden, not too much, can't do too much to himself, but of course Puck finally does get in here. Kipo, having to use that wand to heal up, actually does barely survive through most of it, but will fall eventually. Storm is here, doesn't have too much that he can actually add in, and it looks like Puck having a pretty alright time for himself here. The only one still living, TJ, now running in a little bit of TP support in from the Mirana, or at the very least, baiting that one out. And it looks like Sanke still wants to go right for the throat. They still have 3 on 2 here. It is a TA and an Invoker. Both of those very nice core heroes. Nice Tornado to stop that Fiend's Grip. That would have been pretty much a guaranteed kill. And now Puck's stuck. Ooh, gonna get his mana burnt. Can't quite get out of there in time. Now Nelly and Storm running for the hills. Storm wants to get a spiked Carapace and TP going, and it looks like he just might be able to. There is no Cold Snap or Invoke available. Storm, why have you not actually TP'd out of there? Just waiting around for far too long. Now Nelly looks like he's still running, and Beastmaster just cannot quite get there in time to save his friend. But I mean, that looked like a very preventable death coming out of Nyx Assassin there.
I don't know. I guess he felt like, dude, I'm dead, so might as well just save the TP for when he respawns, because he does respawn pretty fast. And when he comes out, he can go on Vendetta mode again and find another pickoff, which isn't that bad really. So see, right now he can go top and help the gyro, maybe even potentially solo killing.
Looks like Puck getting engaged upon in the mid, but actually going deep into enemy territory just to make sure that that Dream Coil actually does proc. He's getting very, very low, has an illusory orb and a phase shift, picks up the invis, but eats one big arrow, and Chris right on top of that. Some beautiful map awareness out of him to make sure that that Puck does not get away scot-free.
Oh man, that invis rune is just such a big... Oh, okay, so now the Ancients are being taken, so Beastmaster, 12 minutes and 30 seconds in, he's got his level 1 Necro books, and this is brilliant against the Templar Assassin. With the Boar, your Necro units, it's just gonna proc the refraction charges so quick that you'll not even feel it. And as well as you can use the Necro books to de-ward all of the traps on the map, as well as all the wards being placed as well, so it's brilliant. I love Necro books on Beastmaster. It's just a lot of micro that you have to deal with. And I'm sure these guys, like, as skilled as they are, will be able to execute brilliantly.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping to see just, you know, what is it, going to be 4 summons and all of them split up and do a kind of starburst formation like from Ender's Game? That's what I want to see. Looks like there might be an engagement up top. Invis, Moonlight Shadow going up, and Paxa in a horrible position will be fallen here. And that is an easy kill for him, and I mean... a little bit odd that you'd think maybe no sentry ward protecting your diehard carry right now. Suppose they have bigger fish to fry, but I mean, not really, it seems.
Yeah, because they're warding. They're spread out all the way across the river. Way too much action. It's really hard to say, hey, we need to put all the emphasis on the gyrocopter, because they're constantly putting pressure on other places across the map.
Now it looks like double ganks going down into the mid. Of course, Puck getting engaged upon. There's the EMP, and he actually does get out of there, illusory orbing, but of course Nelly and Storm are here. Storm just trying to get right onto that Crystal Maiden. Can't quite kill him in time, and now looks like they're what was I gonna say? Their damage being dispersed against too many targets. Not the best targeting in the world, and now Puck does just barely find Crystal Maiden in the last seconds, but really there, I mean, if they had just targeted Crystal Maiden, got her down before anything else happened, and then continued on their way, that might have gone a little bit better for them, because right now, Panthers coming out ahead from that engagement.
Oh yeah, and this is potentially gonna be a tier 1. Puck is back in the fray, but yeah, Panthers are just gonna retreat out, and the tower's still not within deny range. So yeah, pretty successful defense, even though they gave away 2 supports in 2-for-1 trade, but they were the ones who were being jumped on. So what they need to do is start stacking up, but this time no longer for the Beastmaster. They need to get the gyro a lot more farm. The gyro is too afraid to even go to a lane by himself now. He's sticking close to the rest of his teammates, so if he's ever in trouble, they can just come to his assistance.
And I have to say though, it does look like Senior Hyder is playing this Invoker pretty much the same way we saw, I want to say was him playing it before, but don't bite my head off, everybody, if that's not the case. But at least the Invoker we saw earlier in this tournament, you just play him almost like a Nyx Assassin. He just ghost walks around everywhere, sometimes with a buddy, and then slows down whoever he finds, instantly EMPs, and then boom, and then it looks like that's exactly what's going to be panning out right now as well. Moonlight Shadow actually being used, and Invoker just waiting there as well. They really do need to start putting a sentry down in this top lane. Bane has 1, Storm with Dust, however, and now it looks like they're trying to do the wrap around. They actually have been revealed, getting maybe a bit too close to that tower and everybody there, but now Storm actually trying to turn this on their head. They do have a sentry here, so they know that he's around here somewhere. Throws the arrow, just barely misses him. They still see him, though. He has no idea where the sentry really is. They finally do find him, and Kipo now putting it down. Storm dead to rights.
Oh, so once again, they expend 4 heroes to kill a Nyx Assassin support. But at the same time, they are completely shutting down the Gyro's farm. He's 1 in 3 with only 76 last hits, 16.5 minutes in. He doesn't have any space to go and take the, he's being chased down by Senior Hydra as we speak.
Oh yeah, now Paxa in a heap of trouble, throws down the call down, not gonna be enough. Huge arrow, he is absolutely gone. Nelly once again in a horrible position. So while that is happening, the Panthers are finding kills. You do have Beastmaster along with that Necronomicon doing as best he can to at least not give anything up for free. You're taking a tier 1 at the very least for losing your tier 1 and a few heroes, but I mean, losing your gyrocopter this many times, what is he at kills or deaths wise? Losing your gyrocopter already 4 times at 17 minutes in, that hurts tremendously.
Especially when you're playing a 4 to protect 1 kind of lineup. You're relying on that gyrocopter to carry you into the late game. I mean, it can be done. Gyro often has a rough start, but if you can pick up the slack in the mid game, start farming those big items, start utilizing the stacks for him. What they should do is they need to start playing aggressive. The Mongols, they need to have that level 3 Necrobook on Beastmaster ASAP, which is only 400 gold away, so that's a good thing. Once he has that level 3 Necrobook, yeah, then they can take out all the traps, take out all the wards. Then Panthers will be playing blind, and when that happens, that's the kind of space you create for the gyrocopter.
Ooh, and they get the deny in the mid. So sorry to interrupt you, but now Masquerade trying to make something happen. TJ right on top of him, however, always does have an ult, has just used it. EMP bow popping, does actually land on Beastmaster. While that's happening, Sonke, though, cleaning up the Invoker into the mid. TJ has actually got in there with a Naga Siren ult being used. So now, can they actually make something happen? Sonke, of course, so difficult to actually deal with. Paxa also quite low, but does have Flak Cannon, and should be able to do quite fine right now. Masquerade, no ult available, does have Whirling Axes. Big arrow flies onto Nelly. Beautiful. While that's happening, it looks like Sonke finding a kill of his own on the Mirana, pops the invisibility, and without any dust or detection going on for TJ, he needs to be getting out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah, that was some nice moves coming out of the puck. Getting that kill on Mirana is just as big. But Mirana, wow. 2 kills, 2 deaths, and already 11 assists. Yeah, so now finally after that team fight, both teams are retreating back, and this might just be the kind of space that Gyrocopter needs. He's only a recipe away from that BKB, and after that, well, there's the Necro 3 that we've been speaking about, and so the heroes that need to lead the charge for the Mongols already have all the core items. Beastmaster with the Nec 3, Puck with that Blink Dagger, so now they can start playing really aggressively. Well, not in the sense that you fight a full-on team fight.
Engagement on a puck bot. Oh, all of his mana. It looks like Storm here to try and help his buddy. Gets the stun off. Doesn't have time for the Vendetta to make sure that not one more little hit gets sent to the puck. And, of course, no Sunstrike. He's going to be getting home pretty much scot-free. Takes a little bit of damage. And now Storm just massively overstaying his welcome right now. It looks like Invoker really trying to set something up. Arrow flies. Storm, get out of the way. Oh, finally does. Pops the Spike Carapace, though, in prep. Does get a stun on 2. Might still fall here. Does look like he will. Magic Wands, though, and Masquerade now here. Now Chris, who already used that leap, definitely screwed here. The Necronomicon streaming after him. Beautiful blink in by Puck. Only 1 coil. Not the end of the world. Necronomicon now chasing after TJ. Doesn't have any blink of his own. He does have a BKB, however, and he's trying to run away. And with that, no follow-up coming from Mongolz. So, I mean, yeah, you traded a Nyx Assassin, but you got that Mirana, that Invoker. That is a good trade. And now, once again, it just feels like the Mongols, though, they really are pretty confident in this Necronomicon in Masquerade, and just making sure that they're doing fine on the bot lane. I thought maybe overstaying their welcome. Looks like Kipo might have wanted to set something up, but with no Naga Siren ult, I think maybe a smidge too dangerous for him.
Yeah, now they just need to wait for Beastmaster for his Necrobook and his next Primal role, and the team fight is looking strong. As long as both Puck and the Beastmaster have the ultimates. The only issue is if they engage and Naga Siren's behind with Song of the Siren, he can just bail his whole team out and be like, yeah, we're not going to fight you with the Necrobooks. We're just going to back off for a little bit, wait for it to wear off, and then come back and try to bite you in the butt.
Oh yeah, I mean, now, nice, beautiful little bit of micro out of this Naga Siren. Realizes that, yeah, you know what? They are definitely going to be stacking these Ancients. If not for the Beastmaster, then definitely for the Gyrocopter. And just going in there and making sure that they don't get to do that. I mean, those little tiny plays, especially when your Naga Siren isn't your farming carry and doesn't have Radiance, you need to think of smart little ways that you can make use of those illusions when you're not immediately in a team fight. And I mean, that is a perfect way of doing it. Just blocking every single camp you possibly can with them and denying the other team farm. That's just, you know, very nice, very crisp play. Now we actually have Moonlight Shadow, though. Pretty much guaranteed to be seen, and they know it doesn't matter, though, because Naga Siren's song is being used. Paxa right in the middle of it, gets one call down, immediately melts. Necronomicons, though, right out on it. Looks like Masquerade using his ult right onto TJ. No. Kipo still alive. Looks like we have Coil on 2. Not too sure if it's going to be panning out perfectly for them. Nelly taking quite a bit of damage. Brain Sap just enough to live through it, but now will fall guaranteed. Looks like they are looking for a Crystal Maiden. Storm can't find him. Finally does get a hit. Looks like we had a buyback coming out of Paxa just to get back into the fray. Almost falling immediately. Once again, Arrow Flies isn't quite enough. Senior Hydra, though, he really wants to live for 5 more, 4 more, 3 more. 2 more seconds, 1 more second, and then he can Ghost Walk, not quite in time, barely can't get out of there, and now will indeed fall. Mirana still hiding in the wings, can't really do too much, throws out an arrow, will land on Paxa, does indeed! Oh my god, the luck on this Mirana, absolutely terrific, and finds a kill for his troubles, and now that's actually enough to stop them from wanting to take Roshan. They just don't feel safe there anymore.
There actually is a TA trap watching it out, so it was an arrow that he should have landed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I did want to say, though, you see how far Mongolz came out of that fight, right? They destroyed Panthers in that fight. But the interesting was, both the Bane and the Beastmaster, they overlapped the ultimates on the TA. So imagine what would happen if they aimed different targets during that team fight. Yeah, so, I mean, seeing the full potential of what they can do right now. And every time they have these ultis and the Necrobooks, they can just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
And now it looks like we actually have a smoke coming out of the Panthers. And, I mean, to me, this feels a little bit like it might have been, excuse me, a little bit of a sneaky Rosh, which, of course, you can take a pretty early Rosh with TA in your lineup and meld at level 4. You can take a Rosh fairly easily, but instead obviously getting revealed by this ward and the fact that Naga Siren uses those illusions to scout out, just run around and see where everybody is. But yeah, I don't know, not too much coming out of it, and that smoke maybe a little bit wasted, not the end of the world though.
Now I feel like the momentum needs to slow down a bit for both teams. They need to rethink their strategy into the mid game, because we are 24 minutes into the game, and yeah, he's pretty big already with the BKB and Crystallis, and he's leading in terms of net worth. But Puck and Beastmaster are not far behind, and wow, look at it. Puck has a Necro too as well. Oh man, I love these Necrobook strats. Well, at the same time, I hate playing against it, but it's wicked. It's just so cool. And now Beastmaster, he's going backwards, like making a Necrobook 3 first, and then going back into the mech. I love this decision though. I don't know if they needed the mech at this point. Sure, it's still good. It gives armor as well as a 250 HP heal, AoE heal, but I felt like you can go for things like Aghanim Scepter or even a Blink Dagger for even more initiation power. They're already winning the fights, coming out on top every time they take them, so well, I guess both of them make sense.
And the smoke goes down, but of course the Panthers, they know exactly about it. Just this creep wave in the mid went all the way back up to the tower, and heroes that were just right there, completely gone then, and because of that, pretty much you just see Senior Hydra running down to the bot lane to farm up. He's into the jungle now as well. TA hugging the tower top despite how far away she was, and they know, or at the very least TJ knows, that he is a prime target for those smoke ganks, just seeing how much damage he can put out in those team fights. And Paxa, I mean, yeah, he's very close to finishing off that BKB there. But please go on.
Yeah, I mean, since we have a little time right now, I mean, it'd be good. We can just do a little bit of analyzing, looking at the net worth as well as say the scoreboard, like who gets how many kills, whatnot. How the heroes are doing. So Mirana, wow, that's a lot of assists on a carry Mirana. 13 assists, 3 kill, 3 death. Naga Siren's doing pretty well, but in terms of Mongolz, they're Puck and Beastmaster. Right now, they're holding up what they need to do to help Paxa get what he needs.
Ooh, it looks like we're going to have engagement. Really so sorry to cut you off. Senior Hydra finds him in there. Finds everybody pretty much. Not quite a Beastmaster, and that is not too bad. Throws a huge arrow, lands right onto Nelly. He is pretty much out of this fight, guaranteed. Senior Hydra, though, way too far forward, and of course the Necros revealing everybody a little bit too much for their liking. I thought for sure Nelly was dead. Actually survived way longer than I thought he would. does finally fall. Crystal Maiden melting as well. Looks like TJ just sticking to Paxa like glue. Can't eat or can't live through it all. This courier so incredibly just, oh, he must be terrified right now running around with that bag in his mouth. Although it looks like now Sanke blocking up Kipo a little bit. Doesn't really matter. Masquerade all over him. Doesn't quite have the means to kill him himself, but so many people just chasing after Kipo. This missile will eventually get to him. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom. No chance of this one, and finally does indeed melt.
Well, if he uses Arcane Boots slightly earlier and popped the mirror image, he might have just been able to get out of the rocket. Don't know if I highly doubt he'll live through it, but it would have been cool to see a big play. He did try though. I saw that mirror image being casted, but it was just slightly too late.
And now with
Naga
Naga Siren
start taking the Roche.
Naga Siren being down, big arrow flies, doesn't really matter. There is no follow-up, just a deterrent, trying to stop this Roche from falling incredibly quickly. And without Naga Siren, I mean, I don't know if they can really contest this. Obviously, you do have an Invoker, Ghost walking around. A big EMP tornado would be absolutely massive. Looks like they're going to be able to find a Storm for their troubles, but that is not quite the same as a Team Wipe and a Roche or what have you. Big arrow flies, actually lands on the Roche to their advantage. Does indeed go to the way of the Dire. Now Nelly in the perfect spot to make sure that TJ does not clean up in this fight. Nice little coil, but only on one, sadly. Senior Hydra now in a heap of trouble. Crystal Maiden all he can do is run away right now. Looks like we got a nice little multi-kill, double kill going the way of Masquerade there, and I mean, what can Shiny do? He doesn't even have a TP. All he has is a Force Staff, and if he can maybe live through this little bit, he can Tranquil Boots run, and guaranteed, just gonna die here. Maybe he wants to feed himself to the tower. Doesn't really matter though. And now, after all of that and everything is said and done, the Roche go in the way of the Mongols as well. If we look at this gold graph, what used to be a pretty nice lead, not too bad by any means, 3,000 for Panthers. Actually, even at 3,000, about 16 minutes in, that is not that sizable of a lead. Now ramping all the way down for the Mongols. And doing very nicely in experience, however, far more telling, sitting at about 10,000 difference in favor of the Mongols now.
Oh yeah, those Necro books. At this stage of the game, they're essentially the equivalent of having an additional hero on your team. It's like having multiple Nyx Assassins, so much mana burn. Yeah, I want to point out though, every team fight that I've seen so far, it feels like Masquerade and Nelly, their ultis have always overlapped on the TA. They realize that TA is the key main physical deeps coming out from Panthers, but is it necessary to cast both of the ultis at the same time?
Ooh, blink by Masquerade into it, but there is no follow-up. Bane can't quite get there in time for a Fiends, or a Sleep, or an anything. So a little bit unfortunate. It looks like Sanke wants really badly to take out this tower. Got some TP support going, and now he's actually in a little bit of trouble. They get the easy deny.
He's gonna blink.
He should be able to just blink out of this, shift Q it up, and gets out of here. Doesn't actually though, and immediately melts, and obviously, once you're silenced, there's no chance of a illusory orb or phase shifting out of there, so couldn't quite blink away in time. Probably spamming it into the trees. Didn't quite matter, and it looks like Mito actually got knocked from the game. Did you get locked, Mito? Maybe everything. Oh my word. Well, either way, Mito seems to be dead, and I will be taking this over for the meantime. Hopefully he'll be back, but clearly the Mongols pushing on this tier 2 bot tower, doing as best they can to basically knock it down, and with Alacrity on TJ, doesn't have a Deso by any means, but still an obscene amount of damage, at least physical damage, coming out of this Templar Assassin all day long. And now, with that, Pax, I mean, he still has the Aegis, might want to make something happen with that, obviously. The rest of Panthers just hanging out, trying to take this stack, which was meant for the Gyro, and I mean, that's really going to eat into his farm. He does have his BKB, he's getting closer and closer to possibly that Butterfly, which he might be wanting, and he knows that it's here, getting scouted out. However, if there's a Song of the Siren, they need to be very careful. Not quite. Masquerade, though, nice stun on to this Hydra right away. Fiend's Grip, Nelly right in the background, making sure that TJ does not get away. Big tornado on all of them except Paxa, and now running after whoever he can possibly find. Sanke does find the Kipo, guaranteeing him his death, and now I was going to say Shiny now, getting caught out as well. So, I mean, you do get a stack, but you lose everything else. Marana pushing on this top 3. pushing on this top tier 2 right now, throwing out an arrow, seeing if he can't maybe find a Sanke. Can't quite do it, and obviously with Masquerade, doesn't quite have the Necro available just yet, and not too sure what those guys are doing, just hanging out right there. But I mean, this is going to be a guaranteed tier 2 for the Mongols here. Well, that's happening. Looks like Sanke has indeed found Chris on the top lane. Mito, are you still here? What was that? Oh, Chris actually pops the BKB. Doesn't have enough mana now, though, to actually get a TP out of there. And probably an unnecessary BKB charge being wasted while that's happening. You do have Naga Siren coming back shortly. Does have a Song of the Siren and will be able to stall this push, but not before this tower actually falls. And with that, the Mongols trying very diligently to continue up this push, but they need to be getting out of here. And it looks like Nelly way too far in the base. Not too sure what they can do. Kipo, though, has popped that Naga Siren song, Masquerade, Necronomicon, not for a little while longer, and Nelly actually just out of range of that to make sure they could guarantee his death. Masquerade does get a stun onto Kipo, but he is not getting out of this one alive. Not at all. They do get a tier 1 for the troubles up top, and they got that tier 3, so not too bad. So, I mean, the Mongols pushing very nicely, getting what they can. And Mito, are you there now? Oh, and you have reconnected.
I have. I'm still in the loading screen, but it feels like I've already missed out so much action. Oh.
You missed out on a bit. Storm is being incredibly ballsy, just hanging out right in the middle of these heroes, trying to make sure that they don't. Actually, Storm almost dying to the Riptide of Naga Siren there, taking quite a bit of damage. Yeah, you just basically missed the Mongols. They took this mid tower. They did nice. You got Sanke picking up an easy kill, all on his lonesome against Kriz, the Marana, and forcing out a BKB charge on him. Beyond that, I don't think too much happened. I guess Gyrocopter.
No. This is when you start having...
just finished off his butterfly.
This is when you start having that ridiculous Beastmaster, man. He's gonna start acting like a Furion, except it's even worse. Wherever he goes, he's gonna have a Roar, a Blink Dagger, a Necro 3, and somebody is gonna get hurt real bad. Yep.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
glad
like,
to be back.
yeah, I'm glad you're back. Did you just get disconnected, shot from the game, my friend?
Yeah, like something just happened and like it was very quick. Well, it's kind of one of those like scary movie moments when the light kind of just flickers and then like everything just shuts off and turns right back on and there's like someone standing right behind you. Except there's no one standing behind me. I already checked, so I feel pretty good.
Nice, not too bad.
It is 4 o'clock here.
Oh yeah, in the morning. Pretty darn early for Mito there. And yeah, like you were saying, Masquerade starting to become that kind of... You can just split push all day long. He's actually getting closer to an Ags. He's got that Boots of Travel now as well. And I mean, it's just going to be really obnoxious to actually deal with him. Not to say that Panthers can't. Just throwing down Senior Hydra, having that nice mana burn that he's got available to him. Not to mention an Orchid. I mean, that is a hero that can take out Masquerade for sure. It's just difficult to deal with, though. Yes, sir.
And this far into the game, I think it might be a little bit better if we show the net worth to the players.
Oh, yeah, man, my bad.
The last hits. Yeah, because last hits at this point, it doesn't mean as much, because it can be potentially ancient stacks, which are worth a lot more. It can be potentially a lot of hero kills. But now with the Necro books just being a nuisance, they're going to be able to push down this tier 2. It's going to be interesting. Kipo, he's ready to cast Song of the Siren. Oh, just standing in the front lines.
And now Big Tornado waiting for that. They want that EMP to go down at the very least before, and it looks like this Storm melting immediately, but now because as soon as they just waited out that BKB charge, focused down that gyro, and guarantee that kill. Nelly now gonna melt as well. Can't do too much of here, although a huge amount of damage being done by just Shiny throwing down that ult. Not too bad for their troubles at all. Mongols does find a couple kills, gets the TA, gets the Nagasara, not too bad. Masquerade, though, in a heap of trouble himself and will be falling. Looks like Puck wants to continue this fight, now needs to get out of here. Nice little phase shift there. Should be able to blink out whenever he can, and this TP can't quite get out of there fast enough. And like Mito was saying, I'm showing the net worth now. So sorry to everybody who said or was thinking, damn, I should see that net worth. A lot of action going on, and I got a little too swept up in it.
Yeah, and this is the problem that's starting to show. Mongols, they don't have enough deeps or items on Gyro. Sure, he has a butterfly. Sure, he has a BKB, but because his team is a 4 protect 1, and the Beastmaster and Puck have really done their job during the mid game to like keep them inside, help them win the team fights. Now they need the Gyro to step up, but at the same time, every time he pops that BKB, Naga Siren is just gonna go for the sleep, and when that happens, he's gonna get bursted down. There's essentially nothing that can keep him alive. One very, very, very extremely corny idea that I believe people were flaming for is like, get a Blink Dagger on Gyro, man. In the middle of a fight, as soon as your whole team is being slept, blink away, and come back after the song has ended. Or you can just plane up like Tank Up and go for like Satanic, and then add in some, say, our favorite item.